Hello Pretties, it's Angela, and today's video is going to be making a bracelet for the 5th day, day 5 of the 100 project challenge. And today's colors, I'll go ahead and put it in the beginning of the video. You'll see it floating across. And it was like a maroonish red and also like a lime green or a green. So what I decided to do was make a bracelet, and I had that really beautiful reddish, kind of, it looks like faux coral rose pendant from Beadbox Bargains that I had done in one of my hauls. You might have seen it. I also picked up the check glass sleeves from them, as well as these beautiful deep burgundy red, or almost like ruby red glass crystal from them as well, pressed glass beads from them as well. So I went ahead and strung up one side of the bracelet so I could see how I was going to do it. So what we're going to do is do the other side, and they had this is a connector, so there was a hole on each side of the flower, and I didn't want to just put the wire and just crimp it, because I thought that would not look very pretty. So I made my own little loop with some seed beads, and I'll show you how to do that when we do the other side right now. So what I did was I took a piece of regular beading wire, and I picked up 7 seed beads on my wire. I'm sorry, I'm going to start with my crimp bead, and I could have put it to the other side, it really doesn't matter, and I am using a silver crimp, and I figured that way, when I crimp the bead off, you see it right here, it actually looks like one of the seed. It doesn't look bad. It's in between that leaf and the seed bead, so you really don't see it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put my crimp bead on, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up 7 little seed beads in a silver. And then I am going to go ahead and scooch that down a little bit, and I'm going to go through my hole on the underside. And then I am going to pick up 7 more seed beads with my wire. And 7. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to just go back through just the crimp bead. So it was my first silver bead that was on there. That was my crimp. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this down a little bit. Okay, until it meets my circle of seed beads. Just like that, we made a loop. So you just want to make sure that all your seed beads are around your flower. I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to give it a flat crimp on that seed. I'm not on the seed bead, I'm sorry. On the crimp bead. And now we can go ahead and string the rest of our beads. So like I said, I brought in these beautiful ruby red, or like a darker red, check glass bead, and these really pretty leaf pressed glass leaf beads. So what I did was just strung on a leaf, and I want to make sure that it's going, let's see, I'm going to make sure it's going in the opposite direction. And I'm going to go ahead and scooch it over the, slot it over the other piece of my wire that's still there, and in between each leaf and each of the red beads I'm going to just put 3 of the little silver seed beads, and these are 11 seed beads, and it's a really nice, it's a little spacer. It's delicate because I really want that rose to be the focal piece of the bracelet. And so I just wanted a little something in between. I didn't really want to use spacers because I just wanted something a little bit more kind of softer and more delicate. Let's see, and actually I could have pulled that wire up a little bit tighter on that seed. Those little seeds are floating. Let's see, that's going to bug me. Let me see. Yeah, that's gonna bother me. I didn't make sure, and I'm gonna leave this in. I didn't make sure that my seed beads were it was all the way pushed up. So I am going to take this off because, like I said, I know me and it's gonna bug me. I'm not gonna be able to go forward if I know it's not right the way I wanted the first time. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this little piece off and save my wire. So actually we're going to see that again. Alright, so I may have to pull another crimp bead out after, and I'm hoping, yeah, this should be long enough. I like a long piece to work with, but we'll go ahead and put a crimp bead on again to start. And then my 7 seed beads again. Sorry guys, like I said, I don't want to edit it out. I mean, you know, it's part of the learning process. 1, 2, 3. And 7. Okay. Again, I'm going underneath my rose, my link, whatever link you want to use. If you want to do this technique to just use wire on each side of a link, this is a good way to do that. Just add some little seeds and make it a loop. Basically, you're making your own little bail. And like I said, by using these silver ones for this project, you really don't see your crimp bead because it's next to those silver seed beads. You don't see the crimp. Alright, so let me make sure that I do it right this time, because I definitely don't want to keep starting over. I think the problem was it was okay, now I just need to make sure I'm holding that down tight enough. And when I did the first side, I was pulling down on my beads and the whole wire came out and beads went flying everywhere. That would have been a really good blooper, but I didn't have it on video. Alright, so now, oh goodness, what did I do? Alright, that's right. I think I just broke one of my little beads, but I'm not sure. Well, if I did, it doesn't make a difference because they're not moving, so I guess it's okay. Alright, so we're going to roll with that one because now it looks like the loop is fine. So I have a loop on each side of that rose. That works. And now I'm going to go ahead and string my leaf back on. And luckily, I always cut my thread, or my wire, I should say, wire and thread. Anything I'm using, I always cut it extra long because I mean, I know I don't like to waste any of it, but I'd rather have too much than to be getting in the middle of something and not have enough of it. And then, you know, like something like this happens and you got to cut it, and then to me, you're wasting more if you just, you know. But anyway, that's just my thought process. I'd rather have more to work with, and then if something happens, then you're not in a bind trying to, or wasting a bigger piece. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and slide my seed beads down on that wire next to the leaf. I added 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my red bead. And again, I'm just bringing these down over that extra wire that was hanging out. And then I'm going to add 3 more seed beads. Making sure my wire is not poking out. Okay, now it's all covered up. So now I'm going to go ahead and do another leaf bead. And I ended up, I think I'm going to end up with 3 leaves and 2 red beads on each side. I'll check the length again once I get this side done. And I picked a really pretty toggle. It almost kind of looks like a little bit of a heart on the bottom of it to me. It's not really a heart, but it almost looks like a heart to me. And then, like, this is a really pretty toggle. So these beads, and actually this whole bracelet, kind of gives me like a vintage feel. I don't know if it gives anybody else that kind of feel, but these really pretty beads almost look like a cathedral bead. Which are like the vintage cathedral beads. So, and then the pressed glass leaves, this really pretty rose. It just gave me a vintage feel, like a Victorian type feel. So I thought that this toggle, in my opinion, would bring that out as well. So that's why I'm using that one. So let me go ahead and put on my next red bead. 3 more little seed beads in the silver. 1 more of the pressed glass. And that's it. That's the 3 and the 2. Okay, so let me check my length now. Let me move my little bead buddy down a little bit. Let me get my tape measure. Make sure my beads are all scooched up next to each other. And this is right at about 7. So yeah, once I add my toggle, it'll be perfect. Okay, so now I am going to get my other crimp bead that I had over here. And I'm going to have to pull another one out. I think I'm going to get the smaller ones anyway, because it's at the end and I want the smallest ones that they have. And I am using these crimps came from BB Craft, and I am loving them. Like, I really like the quality. I think they're really good. I haven't had any problems with them so far. And you get so many of them for the price. It was really a good deal. So if you haven't checked out the haul video, my last BB Craft haul video, check that out. And I do have the links for all of the products in the description box on that video. So definitely check that out. These were a really good deal. Those are really... And you get 4 colors, so that's nice. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this crimp and put it on. Okay, I'm going to grab with one side of my toggle and feed that through. Back through the crimp. Whoop. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and feed it back through this leaf bead. Alright. I'm going to grab it with my pliers and help me kind of tug that through a little bit. And then I'm just going to work that down. Sometimes I find it helps to pull it with the pliers. Now I do want to make sure that I have flexibility in my work. I don't want to crimp so tight that it doesn't move, and I don't want to crimp my... Let me cut this excess off. Okay, and I don't want it so tight up against my toggle that my toggle won't move back and forth, because we do have to move that toggle a good bit to get it inside of the, the other end of the toggle. So that side is done. And if you wanted to put a little small crimp cover, you certainly could. I don't have any right now. So, I'm waiting for them to come in. So, I may add it later. It really, like I said, it doesn't bother me. I may add a dangle and it won't even matter. So, let me go ahead and get my other crimp over here off to the side. Whoop, there it is. I am really liking the feel of this bracelet. Alright, so I'm going to put my crimp bead on. Well, I said I was. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to put my other side of my toggle back through the crimp. Going to help guide it through with my pliers. Again, I want to make sure that I have movement in my bracelet. And this can go a little bit closer to my toggle, making sure that once you crimp that off... Oh, wait a minute. I have 3... Oh, see that? I didn't put any seed beads over here. This video is full of boo-boos. That's all I can say. Okay. You know what? I'm filming this after work. That's probably not the best idea. Alright, so for it to match, and since I haven't closed this side off yet, I am going to take those 3 seed beads off so that it matches the other side, because I don't want to cut my other side, and my length is still long enough. I'm going to take those 3 seed beads off and put my crimp back on, put my toggle back on. Oh, goodness. I could redo it. This video, but I'm not. Y'all have made comments that y'all like to see my real process and my struggles. The struggle is real. We all go through them. And so I'm going to leave it in here. And this is my thought process. I'm not taking the other side off. This side matches. It's got a little bit of silver on the end. It's all good. Alright, so again, I'm making sure that my bracelet has movement. And I am going to crimp this off. My toggle has enough wiggle room. And I am just going to snip off this excess wire there. And I've noticed it peeking out right here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that little piece right there. Alright. So it took a little longer than it probably should have. But that's okay. It was supposed to be a quick, easy bracelet, and it was, but I always managed to make it seem a little bit more difficult. Anyway, alright, so here's the bracelet. Let me go ahead and get it attached, and you know I'm going to probably put a dangle because it's just what I like. It's just what I do. I'm trying to get this hooked so you can see the actual finished bracelet. Okay, come on. And I am loving this challenge. I think it's fun. Like I said on the last video, it makes me think outside of the box. This was an easy color palette. The reds and the greens. And it was only 2 colors today. Yesterday was a little bit harder for me. It was 4 colors to get all in one project. And so I felt it was a little bit more difficult. And it was a little bit odd colors for me to work with all together. But I am really, really liking this. I think this came out really pretty. Like I said, it looks Victorian to me. It looks elegant. I love the rose. I love the leaves. I think it came out really pretty. Alright, let me go ahead and add. I think I want to add a dangle. Let me close this off and see where I want to add my dangle. I think I want to add it to, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to add it right here. And I think I'm going to do, let me grab a head pin. Let's see. Get a head pin. Maybe I can do, let me see if these seed beads fit on my head pin. I think they may. Let's see. Maybe. Let's see if they'll go all the way down. No, always it seems like sometimes these head pins, for some reason at the very bottom, my small beads don't want to go all the way down. So we're going to scrap that, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a red bead. And you know what? I really like the red bead, and it's got that little bit of a silver at the end from the head pin. So it's got a little silver. I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. Let me go ahead and use my looper tool to go ahead and make a loop. Luckily that just flew right there. It didn't go too far. I forgot to hold it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. It's wanting to twirl around on that head pin. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my toggle. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to close that back up. Alright. And that's just a really simple but pretty little dangle, and I love that red bead. And actually it really kind of ties it in. Let me move this away. It really kind of ties it in because it gives it that red in between those 2 green leaves. So that's really ended up being kind of nice. And actually, I'm kind of glad I took the seed beads off. Everything works out the way it's supposed to, and everything happens for a reason. Because I am liking that the silver is, the leaves are right next to the silver. And like I said, it was long enough, so it's probably better that I did take off those seed beads, because it does fit perfectly. It doesn't like swing around on the wrist. It's a really nice size. I love that rose is in the front and you just see kind of the leaves on the side. really pretty. I think it turned out really nice. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little, well, it's not really quick after I had all my mess ups, but that's okay. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you would, please give me a thumbs up and click on subscribe. Check out the other 4 days so far that I've done tutorials for in the videos for the project challenge. And if you haven't watched the other ones and this is the first one you're seeing, it's 100 days, one piece of jewelry each day, and a random color picker is used to pick colors. For each day, it could be anywhere from 2 to 5 colors, I believe it was what it was, and you make a project using those colors for the day. You're welcome to join in. The more the merrier. It's a fun, inspirational little project thing going. So again, I hope you enjoyed. I always appreciate the thumbs up and love to read everybody's comments. So until the next video, guys, bye.